Hi, everyone. I'm Sweet Melba. Thanks for joining me today. So again, I'm not in my robe. This may be a new time frame. So it's a little earlier than last time. It's about 11:20. So tea again today. But hope you'll join me for the show today. This is Melba's Gone Rogue. And this is my channel about the development of my main channel, which is AKA Sweet Melba, and my growth, learning, process of development of being a new YouTuber. So my AKA Sweet Melba channel is almost 3 months old. We are on week 11 is what we'll be reviewing today. So we're getting to that 3 month mark. So again, thanks for joining me. I say grab a beverage, and I start off with analytics for the previous week and then get into a discussion about kind of what I'm looking at, what I may be changing, doing, learning, things of that nature. So again, I hope you'll join me. So thanks for tuning in. So as I said, we'll start with the analytics. So again, the main channel, this is all about the main channel, aka Sweet Melba. I invite you to go take a look at that so you kind of know what I'm talking about. If you're interested and you're a new YouTuber as well, and you'll get a little more, obviously, a little more context about what I'm doing and changing and whatnot. But anyway, so this is week 11, and I want to clarify my last show last week. I said it was week 9. So I was off. It was actually week 10. So anyway, so this is week 11. We're going to be reviewing. And my calendar runs from a Wednesday through a Tuesday on a week. So again, week 11. So some good news, really. I'm happy with the upgrades, so to speak. So 9 subs. So I gained 3 new subs over week 11. So that's pretty exciting. And then total number of views as of last week was 952. And as you might suspect, those are from shorts. So I talk a lot about shorts. I guess I have a love-hate relationship with shorts. So I don't watch shorts. That's not something that I personally do. I watch long-form videos, but I've been doing shorts on this channel to get a better reach, introduce the channel to new people, and it seems to be working. So I'm probably just going to stick with that. So I'll get into that in the discussion because I have some thoughts on that. So anyway, so a total of 952 views. 935 of those was from the short that I put out, and I had 17 views of the long form video. I do 1 long form video a week, 1 short, possibly 2 is kind of my pattern. So total watch time last week was just shy of 11 hours, so that was really good. Number of impressions on the video was 103. And click-through rate went up a little bit, was 5.8, so almost 6%. So I'm pretty happy with that. Average view duration, 8 minutes and 16 seconds, and that went up as well. And I will get into that in a minute. And then there was finally some additional information on the channel, again, aka Sweet Melba channel, on demographics. So who's watching, and then kind of an overall 28-week analysis. There's this new channel analytics that's kind of an AI component that puts it kind of in context. So I just looked at that this morning as I was pulling my numbers and everything. So yeah, so that's interesting. But anyways, I'll talk about that too. So the demographics. So as long as my channel has been up, my demographics are 100% female. And I guess I'm not surprised. So ages, this was nice to see because in my previous shows, I've been talking about, who am I talking to? Who is my audience? And kind of feeling that it was that Gen X primarily, obviously not excluding older and younger, but because I'm in 50 something, that's kind of who I'm talking to, really. Although I hope others, especially younger, obviously get some insight from the content on the main channel, which is a life well lived and why we all should make changes, evaluate our lives so that we all feel as though we have lived a life well lived, whatever that may be for you individually. So, anyway, so again, I think that's all age groups. But so my demographics. So, I guess I'm not wrong. So 100% of my age group falls between 45 and 65 plus. So that is Gen X primarily in that age range. Gen X is 45 to 60. So 45% of my viewers are 65 or older. And again, all female. 41% are 55 to 64, and 14% are the 45 to 54. So, yeah. So, I guess, like I say, I'm not wrong in who I think my audience is and who I'm talking to. So, that's kind of reassuring. But again, I would like to see some of the younger folks be able to benefit from some of the stories. But so maybe that'll come up a little bit. We'll see. So, how people are watching, 67% on mobile phone, 16% on a tablet, 10% on a computer, and 7% on the TV. So that was interesting. I watch most of my stuff on the TV, so my viewers are not like me. So, not that I'm not looking, I look on my phone, um, obviously primarily for stats and things like that, just kind of spur of the moment kind of thing. But I typically don't watch content on my phone. I watch it on my TV because I'm pretty much a loyal watcher to the channels that I subscribe to. So that's kind of my thing. And then let's see. Oh, so I mentioned this piece about this AI kind of giving you some information, kind of a little bit of a more narrative analysis on the channel. So after 28 days, my shorts, 86% of my views over the last 28 days are coming from shorts. And yep, that's what I've been talking about every week. So, um, again, love, hate. I wish people would watch the long form. And they all are, segments from the long form to, attract over to the long form. But so more to come on that. And 41% of my watch time over the past 28 days is from shorts. So, how people are finding me, YouTube search is 3.5% of views and 1% of watch time. And browse is 3% of views and 30% watch time. So, I'm not sure exactly what is browse just, I'm not sure exactly what the browse is. Is that just people just kind of scrolling through and it pops up and they stop? So they aren't specifically searching by a keyword or key phrase, because that would be YouTube search, right? The shorts, obviously, people are seeing the shorts. So browse maybe just you're scrolling through and it catches your eye, I guess. I'll have to look into that and see. So yeah, so those are my stats for the week number 11. And so briefly, I just wanted to do a quick comparison to the previous week, to week 10. So clearly, like I say, I had, let me back up a minute. So my video, I had one video this past week, excuse me, which was focused on uh, the impact that my brother has had on my life. And more importantly, I think um, in the context of this discussion, to my channel. So my brother passed away almost 2 years ago, and the video that I did talks about that and just the way that he lived his life, and how influential that has been on all of us, and how I think everybody could benefit from the way that he lived his life. He was special needs, and so I talk about that and just my involvement with, obviously not just him, but other people in the special needs community and the impact that's had. So it really was a video about just how special he was as a person, and how his approach to life is something that I really feel has been an inspiration for me, and why I'm doing the AKA Sweet Melba channel, which is all about a life well lived and how we reflect on our lives and what we still want to do, and being appreciative of the interactions and the opportunities we've had in our life. So, anyway, so the video was specifically about my brother, his passing, how he overcame challenges, and how his life, I think, is an inspiring example of a life well lived. So that was the long form. So there was a short that I took off of that, and that got 64 views. But the primary short was the love story, How I Met My Husband. And that's a short off my previous video from week 10, because I do the short like maybe like 3 days, 3 to 4 days after the main video has kind of been my pattern. So that short is the one that got the views. 787 views on that love story, How I Met My Husband short. And then the week 9 short, Marriage, which was part 2 of a 2-part video series on living alone versus being married, my thoughts on that. And I did a short off of that, which was Marriage Better Together. And that one got 67 views. So, but again, that love story one is the one that just went off. So, is that viral for me? Yeah, so far it is, because most of my shorts are in the I want to say 50 to 60 view range, I think is my average. So at 787, that's, I'd say, viral for me at this point. So good to know. So anyway, so that's the rest of the content, the discussion there. But yeah, so week 11 over week 10. So again, total views 952 compared to 62 the week before, all because of that love story short. Number of impressions was about the same. It was a little bit less this week, 103 versus 135. My click through rate went up to 5.8% on the videos compared to 4.4. So that went up. Average view duration went up just about, not a lot, about 16, 18 seconds more to 816 compared to 757. So, let's see, the shorts, I mentioned the shorts view 935 compared to 55 the week before. And the number of engaged views this week, or this past week, was 491, so 47%. So that's pretty good. But the number of engaged views last week was also 47%. So interesting, just not as many views. And number of likes, I had 8 likes this past week and 2 the week before, so that's really good. And the total watch time obviously was up significantly because that short just got so many views. Just shy of 8 hours for week 11 compared to 1.3 hours the week before. So, yeah, so good. So, anyway, so those are my analytics for week 11. So I always love to hear people's thoughts. I invite you to share in the comments your thoughts on some of the numbers that I gave. If you see some insight there that I don't pick up, or your thoughts. And if you're in the YouTube and new to it, I'd love to hear your stories and how you have been finding your analytics helpful to you, how you're using them, kind of what you're changing. That's really what this channel, Melba's Gone Rogue, is all about, is just the development, learning, strategy discussion, being a new YouTuber. So I'm glad to share my experience, and I hope some of you will share some comments and share your channel too. Why not? And we'll kind of go through this together, right? So yeah. Sorry, slurping. Sorry. Okay. So discussion. All right. So as I said, I'm personally not a shorts person, and I've talked about that through all these videos that I've done. But in learning and uh, where your audience is at, finding your audience. So clearly my long forms are not finding my audience, right? So the shorts are finding them. And, from what I've seen and learned from the different tutorial things and insight. And I'll mention again, I follow pretty consistently Think Media. I really enjoy their content. That's about it. I saw one other person the other day that I kind of liked his approach, but I like Think Media. So again, shout out to them. But anyway, but that's where people are watching too, right? Are the shorts. So, again, love, hate, right? So clearly mine, because what was it? Over the last month, 86% of my views have come from shorts. So, yeah. So, anyway, so I'm sticking with the shorts, and I've been thinking, I typically just do one short for the intro, segment out of my long form. So maybe I do two. And see if that generates some more interest, because I have been getting subscribers. I had three new subscribers, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, two of those came from shorts, and ones in the past have come from shorts. So, is it doing what it's supposed to be doing? Yeah, in terms of getting people to find my channel, finding those that do enjoy it and do subscribe. And I have seen a little bit of a tick up in some of those long form videos, not a lot, but a few. So I think I'm just going to stick with that. And like I say, maybe plan to do two shorts if I can find a good clip. It's hard to get the clips sometimes, and I do that on my own. I'm really not looking at the different, AI things out there. I tried that several weeks ago, and I wasn't too happy with what they were suggesting. So I was like, you know what? I can figure this out on my own, I think. So that's what I've been doing. So I think I'm going to stick with that. And again, maybe do two. So we'll see. So yeah. And again, it's finding the good content to pull out as a short. So, and then I always put at the end of my shorts to watch the full video. And I always link that full long form video to my shorts. So I've consistently been doing that. So I think that's good. So, one of the big picture components that I've been kind of bouncing around, aside from finding my audience, which I think my audience has found me, but anyway, um, was a show that I had watched again on Think Media. I apologize, and I don't recall the speaker's name, but I'll try and find a link and put it in my description for this for it. But they were in general talking about this particular person that Sean was interviewing, was about his approach was, what are you doing your channel for, right? So are you doing it for impact, or are you doing it for money reasons? So I am clearly doing mine for impact. The key focus vision of my channel is, I think, the importance of, again, sharing why it's important for all of us, regardless of your age. But I think those of us that are Gen X probably think about this a little bit more because we're in our 50s in most cases. But are we living a life that we want to live? Are we doing the things we enjoy doing? Are we spending time with the people we want to spend time with? So it's very reflective. It's the looking back on the opportunities, the challenges, celebrating your life to date and looking forward, since, our time is limited. How limited? Who knows? But, you know, what do you still want to do? What components of your life do you want to change? Just being very reflective on that, and driving to a more purpose oriented, intentional, in terms of why we're doing what we're doing, what changes we're making and why. So again, it's very reflective. So that's impact, right? That's how I feel about it. Is that I feel, as I put out in my video last week, that I feel that, I have a calling, so to speak, or in an inspiration to share this kind of message. And so that's really impact, to try and impact not only my own life, because I'm going through this process myself, right? I'm looking at what I've accomplished, what I'm thankful for, what I want to change, what I still want to do. So it's impactful in my own life, but I'm also hoping that my content resonates with an audience that helps them consider their life as well. What, again, what have they accomplished? What do they still want to do? Who are they thankful for? What opportunities are they thankful for? What type of legacy do you want to leave? So again, it's making an impact and bettering people's lives. And so for me, I enjoy the analytics because I think it obviously gives me some insight possibly on what's working, what I need to change, or what I can improve on, so to speak. But I'm not looking at it from the standpoint of, I've got to get monetized in a certain period of time. And would I like to get monetized? Sure. Down the road, yeah. I mean, why wouldn't you? If you have a YouTube channel, I mean, there's some benefit there, right? But that's not why I'm doing my AKA Sweet Melba channel, or this channel for that matter, uh, Melba's Gone Rogue. It's to put the information out to a larger audience, a larger community that could benefit both from the content over on AKA Sweet Melba and my journey as a YouTuber, new YouTuber here on this channel. So that's my bigger goal. So impact is definitely my focus. And so I want to be able to find the audience, right? I want people to see the content, but I want to do it in an approach that I'm comfortable with. And that's where the R.O.G.U.E comes from. R.O.G.U.E is kind of my approach to my content on YouTube. It's real, it's original, it's genuine, unique expression coming from me. So I'm continuing to do that. So I'm not looking at coming up with cookie cutter titles for my videos. I do strive to try and come up with titles that are more clickable, more curiosity driven. But the ones that you Google on, what's a good title for this, and what they come up with most of the time on the AI is just not something I'm comfortable with in that format. So I'm kind of, picking and choosing components of that to come up with something that I'm comfortable with that is reflective of me. I don't want to be the, I don't know, thousandth channel out there using what I learned in the last 30 years. I'm going to share with you in 10 minutes. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking those people if that's the approach that they want to use. I think we all have to do this our own way. But that is not a style that I'm comfortable with. And I don't do my titles like that. And so, am I losing potential viewers because it's not clickable? Yeah, probably. But you know what? I'm okay with that. I try to improve on that and find my comfort level there, and that my audience finds me as we go. So that's really my outlook. And again, that R.O.G.U.E principle that I'm following about my content creating. So those are my thoughts there. So I will try and link that video because I think if you're in YouTube, regardless of where you're at, I think it's an important philosophical, strategic question. What are you doing this for? Are you doing it to impact the watching community? Are you doing this to primarily find additional financial resources, which is all great? Whatever your direction is, that's your direction. You got to be true to yourself. And I'm 100% for that. So, but it gears what you do differently. So yeah, so I think it's an important piece, and I've listened to it twice now. I've kind of got it on saved, so when I'm feeling like maybe I'm getting off track a little bit, or feeling that I'm moving in direction I'm not too comfortable with, I go back and listen to that. So thanks again, Think Media and Sean. Anyway, and your guest speaker, I'll learn his name hopefully. Anyway, so here's my other discussion point for this week. So the shorts, right? So that's where people are finding me. primarily. And some of them are subscribing, and some of them are starting to watch some of the long form content. So, there's a saying that you have to meet people where they are. So, if people are watching shorts, and again, I would think the shorts was a younger, but no. So, not according to the people who are watching. Mine are 45 plus in age, and it's females. So, thank you, ladies. I appreciate the support. And I'm glad you're enjoying the videos. So I look forward to more of you joining in and doing the life journey on AKA Sweet Melba. So thank you again. I appreciate it. But you got to meet them where they're at, right? So if they're on watching shorts, then I'm going to stick with that. And again, as I mentioned, maybe trying to do two shorts and see if that resonates and more people come over. It's challenging, as I was saying, about finding the clips or melding together a short uh, that it makes contextual sense, right? It's not piece of here, piece over there. It takes a little time to do that. So I may start thinking a little bit more when I'm doing my long form videos that, I have a chunk there that I can use as a clip. So staying a little more focused maybe on certain segments within the long form. So I may do that to kind of help with that. So yeah, so I think that's kind of my insights for after seeing how week 11 went. So the other component of first of all, please, I again love for you to share your comments, thoughts, what you've kind of learned through that process if you're doing that. I hope you'll join us in sharing some of your ideas and experiences as being a YouTuber. So the other part of my show that I like to do, is this a show? I think it's a show. Episode? No. Show, video. Anyway, is talking about what my plans are for this week. So this will be week 12. So again, my weeks start on Wednesday, so that's today, and go till Tuesday. So again, I mentioned obviously the short piece. I may look at doing two shorts. In doing that, I will have another long form video. And I have one already queued up, which I actually taped from last week's video, but it was really its own little segment. So I may put that out for next week's video. My videos come out on Sunday on the AKA Sweet Melba channel. It's called Sunday on the Porch, and I do all my filming on my porch. I'll be probably bundling up a little bit more because it is getting chilly here where I am in northern Nevada. So I'll do that. The two shorts. I did not do my Facebook or Instagram posts this past week. So I'm behind on that. So I need to do that. And I'm always a week behind on those two channels. And I don't know that I've really seen anything over there. I mean, on average, the views are somewhere in the mid 30s range on both of those platforms. I don't know that it's driving anybody over to YouTube, but I did not do that this past week. So I'm behind on that, so I need to get caught back up. So again, that content is always a week behind whatever the current thing is out on my main channel. So I need to do that. So I think those are my outlooks for next week. I think that's yeah. I can't think there was anything else that I was thinking I would do. Uh, And the audience piece, this other video that I may throw out that I already have lined up, was specifically talking to the Gen X audience. So I may still go with that, even though my audience is primarily Gen X, which is nice. I wasn't too far off on that. I may still put that video out because I think it's an important video about just talking to the Gen X, talking to my generation, right? About the life well lived aspects. So yeah, so I think that's going to do it for today. So again, thank you for watching. I hope you'll subscribe to this channel. And again, I'd love to hear people's comments. And then I encourage you to take a look at the AKA Sweet Melba channel if you'd like to join that. I did notice that I have a new subscriber on this channel. So that was nice. So hopefully they also subscribed. So thank you very much. And again, yeah, so take a look at that AKA Sweet Melba channel and love to see some more folks over there. Thank you very much for watching today. I hope you have a good week. I hope all of your YouTube activities go well. You continue to make growth and progress, and we'll carry on. So thanks again. I'm Sweet Melba. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.